morning, good afternoon, good evening. Starship Captain's Log, Stardate 713-2019-07.0. Starship Enterprise A's log. Well, it's time I tell the world and the Space Network what's going on with us. So, the other day, Tuesday, Chloe got up out of bed early and was eating chips and getting very violently aggressive and munching. And I said, should I sleep in the office to finish my sleep routine? And she got mad and started in about wanting to hurt, physically harm or kill people. And so to me, I was like, trying to calm her down, and she kept raising her voice and getting very combative and violent. She went after first the APS lady. Case is closed. There is no vulnerability. Chloe might be vulnerable, but the thing is, Chloe can make her own decisions. So the APS lady can't help anyway. So because of it, and so. One of the things Chloe was telling me the other day was her mom said that if Chloe didn't open her trap, we wouldn't be in the mess with APS. So, which I agree completely with Chloe's temper. Well, I'll get you up to speed. This video will be a little while. I got my coffee in the window. So what happened was Chloe got angry, and then after the APS thing, turned around and she went after her and threatened the government officials. Now, everyone knows that, Chloe vents her frustration out of anger and says stuff that she doesn't mean. Well, then finally, because Chloe was sexually assaulted by a woman who she lashed out at really loud in the apartment, the manager got a notice from someone basically stating that Chloe made threats against another tenant here on Starship Enterprise. So we are looking to be marooned on planet Earth, probably. Well, me anyways, being marooned in not Chloe, in Mount Hood. So I'll be living in a wall tent with a stove. Now you're probably wondering how this happened. Well, for two reasons. When I went to talk to my advocates about this problem, I was really shook up. I went straight to the library. From the library, I went home, and from home, I went up to the store to get some supplies, and I told Chloe that I was going to go over to the advocate. They want to give me food vouchers. When I got there, and I'm not going to give all the details, we talked, and lo and behold, things escalated to the point where the sheriff had to have a report of Chloe's threats. And so they told me that it's basically a duty to warn not just the federal government, but a duty to warn the state agency, the APS lady, and a duty to warn to the neighbor. Well, because Chloe's temper, I said, we all know she won't do anything. Well, apparently, by the APS's own standards and the detectives, she can flip of it like the light switch, like that, and it'd be completely ape. You all seen it on the video in the past where she held a knife to her throat, so she can flip. And because of it, she's seen it at first hand. She's seen the videos. Other people have seen it. So what's going on is there's two problems here with the situation. Now, this video is made not just for the viewers, but this video is also to be. And by the way, Jess, I'm wearing my hair down today for you because I just had a bath, and the captain is letting her hair dry. So, okay, so this video is also for Chloe's mom, if you're watching this. So what has happened is they got a complicated situation. Now, we're supposed to be getting a notice to appear in a meeting with the management company. However, the management company doesn't want this meeting now because there's two advocates. Now, for me, because I'm the client to my advocate's client, they can represent me, but they cannot represent Chloe because it's conflict of interest. So, they're trying to have a secure location. The management company is kind of upset. Now, the management company's got some problems, okay? As you all know, there was domestic violence and stuff that happened last year. And as you know, a protection order was issued not just for other issues but domestic violence. And because of it, the management company was supposed to, the manager was supposed to remove Chloe from the lease then, and didn't do it. She had compassion on Chloe, and, et cetera, et cetera. And so, with Chloe being in Seattle and stuff, and manager basically, when the restraining order was dissolved, the temporary one, I was in the mental hospital, and Chloe was in a shelter, so, and with things happening in the shelter, Chloe got kicked out. Well, the story goes, and we won't go into the details of all of that, but here's the problem. The problem is, Chloe lashed out, and, made a threat against the neighbor who raped her. Now, everyone knows that Chloe was raped. You don't just lash out on a woman who sexually assaults you and then basically sit there and say it didn't happen. Literally everyone knows it happened, but the justice system is saying, well, it didn't happen. So Chloe's like in a betwixt and between, so she's furiously angry, so her borderline personality is lighting a flame every time. And, so the problem is we have two fronts of the problem. Three, actually, to get technical. One is they didn't remove her from the lease in the other place, which is the same management company. So they're basically trying to figure out how to get out of that one, which is really bad because the victim coordinators and everything else out there are saying, look, Chloe's done this many times over, PED, whether it be demanding, threatening, intimidating, coercion. Basically, Chloe's mom needs to realize, and I know Dinky knows this, my cousin Dinky, cousin-in-law / sister, and everyone around town that's seen Chloe gets to the point where she gets combative if you say no. Last night Chloe wanted to get 2 liter, but she wanted to take some of my dip. I said, no, this is my last can. Well, she basically got mad with sleep. So, she basically sits there and gets angry and combative towards, and I'm not doing a video to complain, I'm just explaining. So, for example, in February, she turned around and she was calling me names at the grocery store because I told her the budget didn't classify makeup or chips, and I got her a bag anyway of chips and other things that she demanded, tobacco. And so, because of this is basically what they're calling financial abuse, intimidation, and coercion. And, when she doesn't get her way, she usually calls me a bastard, a man with bats, a man with fake tits, etc., out of anger. Well, I basically grew to a custom of accepting it as just Chloe lashing out, but, by the manager's standpoint, that's domestic violence. To the manager's standpoint, the neighbor just got domestically violated too, verbally, by being threatened to her life and her kid's life. And the threat was basically made to the point where Chloe threatened to chop up the neighbor in little pieces and her children with a knife, and the APS lady. Now, the APS lady basically knows Chloe can flip, but the APS lady is really afraid for my safety because of Chloe's temper. And so the manager got, not just the management company, not does only have to explain why the restraining order, the lease wasn't removed the last time, but they also got to now basically look at the DV part from the neighbor's side, and the law applies to, stalking, harassment, sexual assault, threats, etc. And they got to look at it from the neighbor's point of view, that her and her kids were threatened. So they got to look at it from their point of view, but then they also got to look at it from the other point of view is, Rita's being financially abused. She's being intimidated, coerced, threatened. They got to look at that. They got, the APS lady's police report that the police sent out for me to fill out because the police told me I had to, so I did. Same goes with the report recently when she made threats against thieves. Look, the police came out, sheriff came out, and basically said, don't do it again, or you're going to jail. So Chloe's clammed up. But the damage is irreparable. Basically irreparable, because not only did she threaten the lives of a tenant, but she's been making a lot of threats against me, and the police have documented a lot of this around town where Chloe demanded things, and you can't get her way. She makes, and so forth and so on. So, the point is, the advocates are looking at it from, not just from the legal standpoint of Shelby, or the APS lady, or the federal government agents, or the federal government employees, like our commander-in-chief. They're looking at it from the other point of view, as from my point of view. So, to me, we had a meeting yesterday, and we had to brainstorm questions and ideas to ask, and every one of them said, why didn't they remove her from the lease the last time? But they also are saying that the management company is trying to determine whether they want to use the card for the neighbor for the Women's Rights Act that says a woman can't be denied housing or evicted for domestic violence. Well, to me, they're classifying me, even though I am a post-operative intersex woman with a gender marker female, and I have female plumbing. They're trying to say that the law doesn't apply to me because I'm not female. So it shouldn't apply to Chloe, even if Chloe came out and said, well, she was a victim of DV against the neighbor. Again, it's a complicated issue. I mean, Chloe's been basically sexually assaulted. She lashed out, and she made threats against the lady that raped her. So to me, that's grounds right there, they said. But because you got Chloe claiming rape, the police saying it didn't happen, to the neighbor basically claiming she's genetic female, but technically she's got more rights than me, and the manager's trying to claim that, it's an anti-trans thing, that it's basically purely complicated. I mean, literally, this thing is, so one of the things I did was I went ahead and emailed Chloe's mom as well to let her know, and if, I will give her the link as well to this video, but I hope you understand that this is a dire situation, Miss Chloe's mom, because we are really, really in trouble here. Literally, Chloe's temper has got the best of her again, and this time we're looking at 4 options, okay? Now, I want to talk about the options before I go into other issues, okay? Option 1 is after Wednesday, they'll give us 20-day vacate notice. That's it. Vacate. So, storage shed and tent. Now, Chloe's mom has the option to pull Chloe out and take her home. Unfortunately, by now, Miss Chloe's mom, you should realize that the damage is irreparable, so technically, even if you take Chloe home, I'm still going to be homeless, in a tent. So, that's that. Second one is they can start the eviction process, but more likely they won't, due to the grounds that my lease is up in October, so they might just ride it out 3 more months, kick us out. The third option they have is, because it's a DV situation between me and Shelby, and the DV is continuing because of Chloe's temper, they can both offer us terminating our lease early. So we have a 90-day termination period, which means they can tell me to terminate my lease. But in the old apartment, they didn't even offer me that. They told me I had to continue with my lease even after I could terminate it by a federal law. So they violated, again, another law. Now, the other option is, if it's not eviction, and they're not going to give me a 20-day, they're not going to re-up my lease because of Chloe's actions. And because I'm responsible as the main leaseholder, I'm responsible for Chloe's actions, or whoever else's actions are here in my household. So, to me, I am responsible at all times. So, technically, it's falling all on me. So, even though we've tried to convince Chloe not to do it, the thing is that, now, I could offer a deal on the table. One of the options we tried was, with the advocates, was to put mental health on the table and let the manager see the results of her getting better. Unfortunately, because of these 4 options the management company can do, it's more likely that's not going to happen. It's just basically not going to happen. So, it's like, or even if Chloe went to a mental hospital, it wouldn't matter. I mean, literally, the damage is irreparable. And so, I'm not saying Chloe's right, and I'm not saying Chloe's wrong, but honestly, Chloe, so to me, people sit there and ask me, one of the questions is, are you depressed over the situation? No, actually, I'm not, because there is, one way or another, there's an end in sight. Literally there is an end in sight. And whether, homelessness, it's fine, I can live in a tent, or Chloe goes back to Ohio, which is highly unlikely, or Arizona, San Diego, whatever. Thing is everyone's been pushing for me and Chloe to go to Portland. As you all know, what happened was is I went to get some help at the hospital the other day for a break, and they told me to move to Oregon right away, and I tried to let my cousin Dinky know, and that didn't do too well. Let's just say Dinky got angry. The reason Dinky got angry, I think, is because she's seen the domestic abuse and verbal abuse and financial abuse since Chloe's been around. She doesn't like it. She feels that everything that's been done slipping through the cracks. It's like Munchausen syndrome, being Munchausen by Chloe. But basically what's happened is the manager has that, but she also has to look at the aspect of the DV thing. Now, the fifth option is to keep my place, which is highly unlikely at this time in the game, because the appointment for 17th was, the advocate said that they could also say, you get a restraining order, you can stay, but they can only keep me for 3 months, so technically until my lease is up. So no one truly knows what's going to happen, and because the restraining order will be issued next week, next Friday, or next Monday, a week from this Monday, which is 2 days, so 9 days, the ruling will already be done. Now, I know Chloe's mom, apparently Chloe told me outright that her mom said, if you're watching this is Chloe's mom, to fight it, but there's no way to fight threatening the tenants. That's basically grounds right there for eviction. There's no get out of jail free card. So, if you think, that it can be won, you can't. Now, I did basically say to the advocate, Miss Chloe's mom, that the Washington State Human Rights Commission gave me advice that Chloe has been diagnosed borderline personality, so that could be used as a mental illness, just like saying Tourette's. You can't evict someone for saying fire, fire, fire in a building, but, even though it's diagnosed, the advocates are basically saying, this has to stop on the abuse, so they're saying worst case scenario, restraining order, best case scenario, you two are still there, mid-ground, you guys are leaving. Now, we've talked about the options, we've talked about everything we can think of. My thing is I emailed Miss Chloe's mom, because they told me not to. They said once Chloe's on her ass on the street, then let Chloe go to her mom. But I felt that, it was the right thing to do is to let her know. Now, I do want to say, because of the whole reporting of the thing at the sheriff, I regret it, but I was told by the sheriff that if I didn't report it and something did happen to Shelby or our people in the government or the APS lady, that I would be fully responsible. So, and the APS lady's already signed a sworn statement that she's seen domestic violence firsthand, which to me, I want to make this very clear, okay, very clear. To me, I give with all my heart, okay? And, my family has been trying to teach me that these loud outbursts, anger outbursts, is domestic violence. To me, I see them as just rage outbursts, venting, and that's it. But, the advocates both say it is complete domestic violence. I mean, literally, when you basically sit there, 1 minute she's fine, the next minute she's threatening to kill the neighbor, they're like, that is basically a hate crime towards, the neighbor. And so you can't do that. So, to me, it's not a good thing, because you gotta sit there and realize what's going on. So, it's complicated. I mean, literally people just sit there and say, oh, you can fight it. No, you can't. You can't fight something when basically Chloe turns around. And the reason for it is we've heard from a couple of neighbors that are close to us that one of the neighbors overheard the police conversation and wrote it on paper that Chloe made a threat. So that's what got the management company involved. The manager, I told her that early morning, she says, if anything comes in, I'll let you know. She told me in the afternoon because the lady basically called, and then when I was in tears, I went down to my advocate in tears, and the advocate basically looked at me and she said, right when we thought we had a plan set up, they pull it from the carpet, you see, and basically now we're putting this on the table of those four options, five of the count if they want, but thing is as the advocate said, the restraining order here is the last resort, but the problem is it's too late because by the time the ruling happens on Wednesday, it's too late. So, the management company right now refuses to talk to the advocates with me present because they want to just rule out, you're out. Instead, the advocates have got the law basically stating that, the manager, basically from what we understand, has problems with the law because she doesn't want to classify me or Chloe as true females, and because of it, she's trying to say it only applies to genetic women, and in this case, when you're post-operative, you are considered female for all purposes with female plumbing. So, for me, I think it's just downright discrimination yet again. I mean, literally, and but it's also discrimination in the fact that they're going after Chloe, which they have all rights to. I mean, literally, I can't. You see, I'm content. Okay, whether in one way or another, I'm content. I mean. As I told Dinky last night, a private message on Facebook, that this is, that there's going to be an end in sight. Whether the end is to my liking is a different story, but there's going to be an end. Now, Chloe's ex-roommate messaged me. I know Chloe's mom's sitting there. She swore in a sworn statement for the APS lady. She reported to APS. She tracked me down and basically reported all the abuse she suffered and that I'm suffering the same fate as she did, which matches pretty much practically what's going on here that she did in Arizona when Chloe lost her job over her temper. Now Chloe's mom's probably wondering who else reported it. Well, the advocates reported it to APS, so did other people, and so did my therapist. So because I'm not vulnerable, they closed the case. But when they closed the case, they could have proceeded with a restraining order, but the problem is, with the advocates, they are so busy that they don't have time to go and fill out all the paperwork. So, now that the manager, when I saw the manager, she said restraining order or not, basically, it doesn't matter because the time's up for getting one. But the manager also stated that, they have a situation that's delicate because, the manager at the old building basically is still ran by the same management company, should have removed Chloe from the league. So that's basically really a problem right there. So for law enforcement, as law enforcement said, that could go into court and the judge would be basically saying that, for the safety and security of not just me, but the safety and security of the government officials or the neighbors or other people like the APS lady, that this wouldn't have happened if Chloe basically wasn't even in the picture. But because the manager and the old place had compassion for the disabled and mentally ill, well, I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, okay? The manager wanted everything in writing anyways, or a police report. She's waiting for the report. That's the other complicated issue is they're waiting for the report. The APS lady's got the one report. And so does the advocate. The other report the advocates have, the management company wants both new reports, but she can't get them for several weeks. So while she's sitting there waiting for this report, even though Chloe confessed to the sheriff, basically everything, as one sheriff said, is hearsay. So you can't evict under hearsay. Oh, talking about the law, the only way you can evict someone for a 3-day or a complete eviction is like where Chloe's in, is if Chloe was convicted of a felony. Unfortunately, Chloe wasn't. They just told her don't do it again, and Chloe climbed up to the point where she's not doing anything right now. So I thought I would share that with you all as well. So basically, because she wasn't charged, the Human Rights Commission said they have to first issue a reasonable accommodation, and my reasonable accommodation they don't want to grant because it's complicated. So one of the reasons why I emailed Chloe's mom is to let her know that this is a dire, I call it a dire emergency because, frankly, and I have people out there that well, I won't give names, that basically said that Chloe wasn't neglected or abused as a child. Chloe would have been a different person instead of lashing out with borderline personality disorder. And fortunately, the damage is irreparable. I mean, at this stage of the game, I'm going to probably be marooned at the base of Mount Hood when this is all said and done, I think, or wherever the family's got ideas. But we're looking at tents right now. We're looking at the gear needed because, frankly, this is what's going to happen. Stuff goes in storage. I live down there, living with a generator to power my game systems, to charge them up, and make my coffee pot, from time to time. Otherwise, nothing. So, I'll be using the generator to charge up my game systems through a clean generator, clean power source. And so to me, it's kind of interesting because, frankly, we're having problems, but the thing is I thought, I would let you all know, that, when I did my email, I basically said we're in a dire situation where, Chloe's mom, if you're watching this, you need to realize there's no, this is what we call the Kobayashi Maru test, for cadets in Starfleet, and there is a no-win situation here. I mean, there might be a win situation any way you look at it from the manager's point of view, but to me, I don't see it's a win situation. And so, to me, I see it as a situation where we both are completely and thoroughly screwed. I mean, literally, we are freaking screwed. Literally. And frankly, my family, I blame myself for it, but as the law enforcement said, the report had to be made. I mean, look, she's made threats against not just the neighbor, but the neighbor's children and the APS lady and her children. So technically, you're not just getting into the out of bounds and making threats just against one person. You're basically saying you're going to go massacre a family. And that's where they said this had to be done, because, Chloe, I said, well, Chloe can't carry it out. Well, she has a knife and she's got a little match in her head and she flips. I mean, for what I understand from all party sources, except for the manager, let me put it to this way, okay? I'm going to break it down to you all from what I'm hearing, okay? And this is just from my opinion. Now, Chloe's mom doesn't see this. I don't see it either, but you got the APS lady telling people that she's afraid for my safety to the point that there's no return. Literally, Chloe's going to murder or maim me to the point or maul me to death almost and leave me paralyzed or something for life. And it's the point where, you also got them saying, that Chloe's using me and abusing me, so she has a place to live, a roof over her head, food in her belly, and, etc. And as long as she's living with me, no offense to Chloe's mom, you don't have to worry about it. Now, the other side of the story is Chloe's mom's like, well, for what I understand, certain things are illegal. Now, it is illegal, but you gotta understand that the legalese of Washington state law that if one tenant's evicted, co-tenant, the entire household gets evicted because it falls on the primary leaseholder, which is me. That's state law. So anyway, look at it, it falls on me. Which, a lot of people are saying, well, if Chloe had treatment, it would be different. The thing is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force the horse to drink. And frankly, what happened is Chloe is so upset at the mental health system, she refuses to go to treatment. And so, for me, I told Dinky and I told Chloe's ex-roommate and family members, I feel it's my fault for this whole thing. But they're saying no. What it is it's not my fault. What it is it's Chloe's fault. Chloe could curb her tongue. We wouldn't be in this mess. Now, I know Chloe's mom's got her own ideas. I'm just hoping that we can figure something out for Wednesday, but more likely, a rental truck's going to be needed, and I'm going to have to put everything in storage, which means, from then on, it's to each man for themselves, because, frankly, there's nothing there, each woman to themselves, because there's no way to win situation. Now, I know Dinky's telling me to have hope and positivity, but, I've given the options, more likely they're not going to renew the lease. and so we're out. Any way to look at it, we're out. I mean, they're already filling my apartment for a vacancy when we're out. So, see, the manager is not giving any information to the advocates because she's angry that I got the advocates involved. And because of it, she thought she could just plant something, but once she found out the advocate called her, she basically never sent us a notice saying we're being kicked out or there's a meeting and we have to, they have to give us a notice to comply with new rules within 10 days, but under this rule and regulation, because Chloe made a threat to the neighbor, that basically goes out the window. So they're basically walking tall and carrying a big stick like TR said, Teddy Roosevelt. So the point is what do we do? And we do, I don't know. Literally, I don't know what can be done. Literally. So, to me, I wanted to share that with you all, first of all. I know Jess is probably sad. But, Jess, it was about to come down to it anyway. Chloe kept making threats, being loud. She had notices. Well, they said my party needs to lower their voice. Chloe doesn't come with a volume control now, nor do I, but I just have some other news to share with you now that news is out of the way. I signed some paperwork to get new glasses, okay? Now, everyone knows my glasses were missing. Now, people are pointing the finger that Chloe made my glasses go bye-bye. To me, I think it's kind of sad that I can't see, but it'll be fixed soon. I also got a appointment to get hearing aids, which is covered through the Lions Club. So, those applications, everything's been done. I'm just going to do this before leaving the island station for my adventure. And a lot of you have said, the family members that watch my videos, you're always saying, well, Rita, you have your depressed side and then your happy side. Well, I've been in a manic state for about 3.5 weeks. I have an undiagnosis of complete, but since they don't do diagnoses, they're not going to put it on paper, but they clearly stated and contacted my psychiatrist who did diagnose me through Skype that I am bipolar 1. And because I'm in my manic phase for 3.5 weeks, which means this average manic stage is 13 weeks, and the average depressive state is 13 weeks. So I phase out. Now, borderline personality, for some of you wondering about borderline personality disorder, it's basically an emotional illness where a borderline bipolar 1 and 2 and a borderline schizophrenia. So it's why it's called borderline, because it has psychotic features. Now, basically, one of the things I want to share with you is Chloe's emotions can flip off the switch. 1 minute she's fine, the next minute she wants to kill people. And because of it, that's why they call it borderline. Now, some people sat there and said, well, if it's borderline, then wouldn't it not be autism? Well, talking to people with Asperger's, I was diagnosed with Asperger's and fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, that autistic people usually don't lash out this bad and want to kill people. So technically, no, it's clearly borderline. So with all these people, and if Chloe's mom's still watching this, let me just clear this up for you as well. The reason Chloe's not vulnerable, or she's not in the developmentally disabled program, or in the developmental Department of Vocational Rehabilitation, or any of those things, or getting in-home care through the state, so she's not vulnerable. And so APS said, no, we can't help her. Now, and APS can't just sit there and say, well, we're going to invoke a less restrictive alternative or involve. It's not her privy to do it, so technically case closed. But she's made a note that she's heard first thing. The last time she saw this firsthand, where Chloe flipped like a switch, she had 2 detectives out there with 2 sheriffs. And the detective was listening, because the detective at the time was going to keep that report open for a while to see if Chloe did it again, because, of the situation. So, the only other option that they could do currently for Chloe is highly unlikely, because I've talked to the sheriff since then, is the prosecuting attorney could basically file a criminal complaint against Chloe, but unless the lady and the management company, because they don't have the police report, they can't do anything. They just told Chloe, don't do it again. But, the sheriff turned around and told me outright the other day that he regrets coming out here because it costed me my home. But under the duty to warn situation, it had to be noted and due. And because of Chloe's actions, they needed to confirm that this stuff did happen. And because they've had people complaining about it, but so technically it's a big conundrum, a big puzzle. So to me, it's basically really highly, so I'm blaming myself for the report, but the problem is it had to be done. They said no matter what, it had to be done to let, and they let Shelby know. So technically Shelby's, kind of worried, so they're trying to see if they can relocate Shelby first, and then, figure out what to do with Chloe. Now, Chloe, of course, is disabled, but a disabled person can lose their housing, and this is one of the reasons they can, which is the threat. So, I wanted to say to Chloe's mom, what do we do? Right? Yeah. So, anyway, the borderline personality basically got the best of her, and now she's basically living in misery. And me, I'm actually content because, in my opinion, this comes to an end with the threats in the one way or another, which is something that I don't like talking about, but I do. So, the next thing I want to discuss with you is basically, let's see, what else do I want to talk about? So my next plan is I got storage sheds to check out Monday. That's my adventure for Monday. Today's plan is to go to the library as soon as it opens in 2.5 hours it opens. So I will go there and take care of the issues. And so, and just so y'all know, Chloe was crunching chips, and that's what triggered her to get very combative with me, because she wanted to crunch chips to wake me up. And I asked her nicely if either I should go into another room and sleep, or if she could gently go somewhere else and crunch the chips so I could go back to sleep. Unfortunately, it escalated to fuck you, and then went on to other issues. So, as you can see, I'm not literally complaining. I'm actually content no matter what right now. So technically, to me, it's, I did contact tent makers. Me and Dinky's got a plan put together. We're going to implement it after Wednesday more likely because that's when the ruling happens. And like I said, they can't issue restraining orders because it's too late in the game. Now, the manager wanted proof anyways of the yelling, and well, she got it. She literally got it, but now she's got to wait for a police report. The advocates, they're basically trying to find a way to keep me from losing my apartment. Unfortunately, the other option is management company can put on the table that they can terminate my lease August 1st, and that means I'm out. So, I can terminate it within 90 days with no penalty. And because of it, that's with a restraining order, by the way. Because the restraining order is too late in the game, they can make me, they can penalize me if I leave early. So I think they're going to make it so I have, they're going to get a 20-day lose the deposit, and well, you know how it goes. So, next bit of business is I wrote some notes to Dinky. I got to get a double sleeping bag, a camp stove, a camp lantern or two, a cooler, and that's about it. And a little camp coffee pot, and then I'll be set for camping for a while until something opens up. If that's the route it's going, more likely it is, because the advocates can't provide me housing. Literally, they cannot. I mean, they say I'm on a wait list, but the wait list could be a year. So in the meantime, I'm supposed to live in a tent somewhere, and hope like heck I can, stay on the island in a tent until something comes about, which means, living in a tent with, I can get a 3-season tent till rain season, and then I'm stuck trying to find something to do until, something else happens. I mean, literally, it's going to be a complicated issue, which means I have to get a post office box, and then I have to get a little cart to tote my stuff around. So technically, it's still a wagon, which to me isn't bad, but it ain't good either. So technically, we have to look at options. Now, I thought, to let you all know this, because Chloe's mom might have options for Chloe, like sending her home, or sending her to Arizona, or sending her somewhere, or, it's just a big literally a big mess. And because of it, no one in their right mind knows what to do. I mean, literally, we are stumped, basically. We are literally frickin' stumped to the point of no frickin' return. Now, for some of you wondering, why I kept Chloe with me was for two reasons. One was, I felt obligated to look after her, and take what the advocates say I've used. And two is, I was promised Chloe would be on disability and the retro check would be mine. But unfortunately, that doesn't look like it's going to happen. So to me, it is more of an issue with what do we literally do. What do we do? So, so that's the second thing. I am still writing Dinky a letter. I'm on page 15 right now, trying to write down my thoughts, send them to her, because, the problem with me is we don't have internet at home, as you all know, the router was destroyed out of anger, and the second reason is that the bill got too high. I was paying the bill, but problem is Chloe refused to have me pay it because they couldn't fix the service. The service would drop to 4 hours a day out of 24 for cable, and they're saying, it's an island-wide outage, yet you go through CenturyLink, they're fine. You go through Rock Island, they're fine. But Zito was the most worthless piece of junk in the world. Now, the library does have Wi-Fi hotspots, but technically the Wi-Fi hotspots are not available right now. I'm number 3 on the list, so they got 10 of them, and each person can use it for 3 weeks if they wish, or a shorter time if they wish, for 3 weeks, with $5 overage every day that you not return it. So to me, I'm waiting my turn yet again. So is Chloe. I think Chloe's number 4 on the list, or 5, something like that, and they have like 47 people waiting, so we're going, we're pretty good on the list. And so, so basically, right now, because I have no internet at home, I've been spending some time in the evenings writing a letter and preparing my letter to mail to Dinky, and then I will start a new letter and write that one and prepare it again for Dinky, and then we're good. I mean, literally, we're good. I also got to talk to Dinky about boxes and a U-Haul truck, too. I mean, literally, we are in a conundrum of what to do. And so, to me, I'm finding it more exciting. 4 days to go until we know what's going on. 4 days that, that we will know what's going on. I mean, the manager basically is not talking. My advocates are trying to work something out. We're also trying to figure out what the topics are going to be for this meeting. And the advocates are basically stating, and this is something I want to share with you all on video, Chloe's mom still watching, is that the problem is they don't want Chloe at the meeting because they figure Chloe will flip a lid. Basically flip a lid and flip the trash can over out of anger. So they're more worried about their own safety, so they're having it at a secure location. So that me and the manager head boss and the 2 advocates are there to advocate, while everyone else, like Chloe, is not in the picture because they're afraid, And so, the other thing Chloe thought about doing was going to a mental hospital. Now, Chloe's mom said that was an option. We would be talking about it in an email, but I figured I'd bring that up to you as well, because Chloe thinks that might be an option. Send her to Seattle and let her place out there. Problem is it wouldn't matter to me because it looks like homelessness is going to win out in the end. Now, the last part, go to County Road, by the way. And the last part I want to talk about is my birthday. Now, I got a couple ideas. Chromebook or a new laptop. I'm just waiting to see how this plays out, because I might have to get a moving truck and put everything in storage. So to me, it's going to be kind of scary going from my apartment that I've had here to moving out and living on literally in the streets possibly. With my family, and I want to say this clearly to everyone watching. My family kind of really pissed off, like I said, that the actions of that this came this way due to the fact that the actions came this way due to the fact that the manager and everyone else let this slip through the cracks for so long that now the outcome is eviction. I mean, literally, I don't know the whole content of what Chloe said about it's illegal for them to evict, but unfortunately it isn't illegal for a threat. They can just kick out. And so they don't have any offers on the table, so we don't know what to expect. So to me, I'm kind of concerned and scared at the same time, but not so much worried. I'm content that this will come to an end pretty damn soon. So, like I said, my birthday, I'm looking at either a Chromebook, a laptop, or, camping gear or something, that I can use to survive, being homeless. A service dog and a bunny. Now, finally, Nintendo brought out the Nintendo Switch Lite, which will be out at $9.20, so I'm waiting to get my hands to pre-order it. I know you can pre-order it one of the times from the Best Buy, Target, Walmart doesn't have it there, or Google Express, or Amazon. They don't have it. I'm waiting patiently, for the portal to open up so I can pre-order it. Because everyone's like, I'm also looking at it as an option for layaway, but I have to first get there. So, so I'm just waiting patiently on the Nintendo Switch Lite. So, there you have it. There's nothing more I can say because, you get the idea of what trouble we're in. But, I'm being positive on the Nintendo Switch. I'm trying to be positive with the camping. I'm trying to be positive for, Chloe's mom's email. I'm trying to be positive for everything. So, with that said, nothing more to report. This was kind of a video that I've been wanting to make, since Wednesday. I just couldn't wrap my head around everything. So, with that said, everyone, have a great day. Please add and subscribe. Please post comments. Hit the like, subscribe button. Hit that bell notification. It's wholesome fun, even for your bunnies. Thanks for watching, and Captain's log out. This transmission in now.